DJ, you go crazy.
DJ UTV, let them know who we got in the building.
It's your girl, Designer Zoe, the fashion guru of Chicago. What's up?
Ooh, Designer Zoe, what you on, gang?
Not too much, man. I'm just here to spread the love.
Okay, well, thank you for spreading the love this way. Welcome to DJ UTV. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm definitely grateful for this opportunity.
For sure, for sure. So one thing we know about Designer Zoe, we see the clothing throughout the city of Chicago, you know, but we haven't really been able to put a face to the brand, you know.
Yeah.
I heard you say something like, you know, a lot of people think Designer Zoe is a male.
Yeah, because I don't really too much put myself out there. I want to get notoriety for my craft, not more so for me. So a lot of people be thinking I'm one of the guys or something because I make male clothes on top of that, but yeah.
Okay. So let's start from the top, Designer Zoe. Tell us where you from.
I'm from Kankakee, y'all.
Really?
I'm from Kankakee. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. Then I moved here, I would say, my 8th grade year, leading up to high school. And then I'm not from the city. I'm from the burbs. So, yeah.
Okay. So tell us what it was like for you growing up. So you grew up in the burbs, not Atlanta, but in the burbs.
No, in Atlanta, and then I moved out here in the burbs, out here.
Okay.
So I'm not from the city at all.
Okay. So well, tell us about your Atlanta upbringing then.
Shit, I was young. I was a child, so it really wasn't like too much. I wasn't even into the clothes and stuff. I was just being a regular kid. Was probably getting into more trouble than anything. But then when I moved out here, you know, that's when it's a different environment. It exposed me to new culture and stuff, different fashion for sure. And you know, over the years, I've just been kind of adjusting.
Now that's interesting. You say you're from Atlanta because I feel like your fashion does kind of cater more to like an Atlanta type of audience than Chicago. So would you say Atlanta kind of influenced your style?
Yeah, but I feel like my clothing brand is a mixture between Atlanta and Chicago. It's not over the top, but it's not, you know, too flashy, but it's just right type shit.
For sure. So who are some fashion designers you look up to? Or who influenced you to start, you know, designing clothes?
Nobody influenced me.
Okay.
I didn't even have a desire to be a designer. You know, it's just something that I grew into when I learned how to make clothes. In high school, I actually took fashion and I failed. But then I also was taking like AP art and like just learning graphic designing and things like that. And they taught us how to put graphics on shirts. That's how I even got started with making the clothes. I was hustling up in high school, selling shirts, selling pictures on shirts, basically.
Okay.
Distractions.
So at that time, did you go by the name of Designer Zoe, or did you have another name for your clothing brand?
I ran through a lot of names. My first name was finessing, because that's when finessing was a trending word and everybody was like using that shit. So I started with that, and then I moved into nonchalant, and I had the logo, the N, on like hoodies and stuff. And back then, you know, I was self-teaching myself like how to sew and just doing the basics. But I would say, now that I'm thinking about it, somebody that kind of influenced me was Ron Lewis.
Okay.
And he from Chicago or whatever. That was like one of the first designers that I seen using his hands and, you know, just perfecting his craft. And I reached out to him back then, and, you know, he gave me simple advice as far as just going on YouTube and self-teaching yourself. And his main thing that stuck with me was do what makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be in the house taking apart shirts and stuff and then putting them back together with a sewing machine and stuff like that. But
True.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how did you come up with the name that we all know you as, Designer Zoe?
Oh, that came from a lot, just experience, honestly. Zoe, the way I spell it, Zoe in Greek means life.
Okay.
So Designer Zoe, it really means designer life, but Zoe is also my identity. So it's some sort of meaning and depth within that shit. It took some years for me to come up with that name, because after a while I started running through names and it just didn't make sense to me. So I just felt like I needed to name my brand like something that defined me, you know, more of me rather than an emotion or something that's trending. And I think that's like a lot of brands' biggest downfalls right now. They try to create their brand off of what's popping, but it ain't about that. It's about brand identity, finding yourself within your brand, and you know, standing out. If you stand out, that's how people gonna select you. You ain't gonna get on following, you know, somebody else's footsteps. You know what I'm saying? People looking for new things every day, especially in the fashion world. So.
It's definitely a very trendy industry, right?
Yeah.
So we've noticed that you have been able to get your clothing on a lot of famous rappers' backs, especially here in Chicago. Rappers like King Von, Lil Durk, Cowboy. You know, a lot of brands they hope to get their clothing in these type of guys' hands. You know, because they feel like it's a way to, you know, help out their brand. So tell us how you able to get in tune with, you know, all these famous rappers.
It's kind of funny because Von and them, I didn't even know who these niggas was. Because like I said, I'm not from here or whatever. So when I first came out here, the shit that was popular really was unbeknownst to me. And Von met me, a lot of them met me when they was coming up as well. Like we just, I guess, networking, you know. But Von met me off of the Bulletproof Vest when I was going viral for that. He got out of jail, and his first video, he wanted to wear it in his first video. But like it was one of his homies that hit me up about it or whatever. But I didn't even know who he was and nothing. I made him a vest like he was a regular person. But then like when we actually linked up and stuff like that, you know, that's when we got in tune, we was cool or whatever. And then shit, he just always showed me love. Like he always, and it wasn't one of those where I just give free stuff. That wasn't the type of bond I had with him. But of course with other celebrities, it's the same thing. But I would say I got in my position based off, I don't know, just God. Shit, I just ran into the right folks. And then networking, like 600 Breezy is in cahoots with Durk. And, you know, just networking out there and stuff. And then keep putting my shit in people's faces. That's the main thing that I feel like people lack. Like every time I drop something, it's different. And it ain't the same design every time. That's why I really try to amplify designer with my brand, Zoe, and just to let people know this me right here. Like, and a lot of my designs is based off of shit I'm going through. Like a lot of designs just say have these quotes of things that I'm actually experiencing in my life and shit like that. So I think a lot of artists fuck with me off of that alone.
Yeah, that's dope. And the fact that you hands-on with all of your products, you know, all of your garments, you know, I feel like that says a lot, you know, with you as a fashion designer. So, okay, we see all the rappers wearing it, right? And like we just mentioned, it's fashionable, it's stylish, right? So, tell us what are some challenges that you go through, not only as a fashion designer but as an entrepreneur.
Challenges. I would say the biggest challenge is adjustment, because I've been doing this for 8 years at this point, and life is consistently changing. People's interest is changing, and the platforms and just strategizing in general is changing. Like now I'm trying to adjust to using TikToks and, you know what I'm saying, making reels. I'm not a dancey person. You know, I ain't with all that stuff. I just be chilling. But it's like that's what's getting people attention type shit. So in a lot of scenarios, I gotta challenge myself to do things that I ain't even comfortable doing, but I gotta do it to get my brand out there. I was just trying to think of something else, but oh my bad. Yeah, I was trying to think. I would say what else is challenging? I would say the slow periods as well. The slow periods, because a lot of entrepreneurs, get discouraged off of not selling one day, you know what I'm saying, or a whole week. It's gonna be weeks, you know, months possibly, especially if you're starting off your brand. It's gonna be slow, but I feel like the key is consistency. You gotta keep putting that shit in people's faces every day. You gotta let people, and you can't let people forget you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of brands, they even get trendy, go viral for a little minute, and then after die out because they stop putting that shit in people's face. They stop coming up with content. They stop thinking in new ways. And that's the thing with me, G. I'm always looking for something new. I'm always trying to figure something out, something new out for myself that's gonna put me on my next level or get me there. You know what I'm saying? Because like right now, I feel like with the clothes I'm making, I'm more hands-on as far as just challenging myself, making like mink coats and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just things that manufacturers doing. You know, I want to prove that I can do it all, and I want people to come to me for it all. So when people be like, "Damn, you make kid clothes?" Yeah, I make that. You make jeans? Yeah, I make that. Anything, you know what I'm saying? You're not just finna come to this brand and get a graphic shirt. You're gonna get whatever.
Right. Speaking of kids, you most recently became a mother yourself.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how you are able to balance motherhood and being an entrepreneur?
Well, in all honesty, I kind of feel like it's a blessing because my son is with me 24/7. Like, I'm a full-time mom and a full-time entrepreneur. So he might be young right now. He only 2. But he's experiencing everything I'm doing. Like, it's days that he'll see the mannequin dressed up and he'll come messing with the mannequin and stuff like that. And even one time he put a patch on there himself. Like, I love the fact that he with me. And on top of that, it kind of challenged me to be stronger and more strategic and just more motivated. Like, I can't sit down. Like, every day I got to get it. It don't even matter. Like, and yeah, it was hard at first. I'm not going to never lie and say, like, this shit don't be breaking me down. But shit, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I don't feel like nothing going to stop me. Like I said, all this shit is really about adjusting to the change, and that was a major change in my life. I went from running the streets, doing drop-offs, into changing my entire structure and my foundation and how I do things. Like, you never gonna catch me dropping off anything. You never gonna catch me making things before a deposit, any of that. Like, my son helped me to adjust and grow in ways that I didn't even think I was ready for. So I would say that he motivated me to do this, and on top of that, he's experiencing it himself.
That's what's up. We see you host like a lot of seminars in which you be, you know, teaching other upcoming fashion designers, you know, what you know. Can you give some advice to those that's checking out this video and they love what you're doing and they, you know, interested in becoming a fashion designer?
My advice would be to just do it. You gotta jump in that water, G. Like, you can't just sit and think about it. You gotta jump in it, and it's gonna be times. Like, a lot of students that I be teaching, they'll come and I teach them the whole thing, but then I'll be like, man, this shit hard as hell. You know what I'm saying? And it'll discourage them to a point where I don't see them no more. You know, but it's only a small percentage that always come back and be like, man, I need to learn this next. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta have hunger. You don't just be doing something because you see somebody else being successful at it. Make sure that's what you are passionate about, because your passion is what's gonna drive you. That's what's gonna keep you going. Like, it's days that I ain't made no money at all, you know, and I just feel like, or I'm dealing with different type of customers, you know what I'm saying, being stressed about it, but I love this shit so much, I just do it anyway, you know, and I just do what I gotta do, regardless, and that's a part of it, you know, just, it's a lot of times I'm gonna have to do things that I ain't comfortable doing. Same thing with anybody else. It's gonna be a lot of times you might not want to sell this shirt for $40, but you got to get it off, you know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of, I feel like that's bringing yourself to being humble, you know, staying grounded within your craft, being humble with who you are by any means. It don't matter what you got to do, you just got to get there, you know, so.
For sure. Advice. I definitely want to salute you on all the success you've had. You know, I've been a fan of your brand for many years now, and I followed you closely on different social media apps, And so I've noticed the growth and maturity throughout the years as well, you know.
Yeah.
And one thing I really admire about yourself doing your brand is you never gave up, you know. Like you said, it'd be something that's going on in your personal life, but you will push through it, you know. And I feel like that's very admirable as a fellow entrepreneur. So before we wrap it up, though, any closing remarks or shout-outs you'd like to give?
I'm going to give a shout-out to Shake and Bake, for sure, my boy KT, because he believed in me just as much as I believe in myself, to a point that, you know, he just give me opportunities. He fuck with my brand, things of that sort. I want to shout out all my supporters, a lot of my regulars that just keep coming back, you know what I'm saying, and just keep fucking with me despite my mistakes, my flaws. And just shout out to people that just still rocking with me, you know, and understand I'm a human and I'm just growing and, you know, figuring this shit out just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm. For sure, for sure. And let the folks know where to find you at, you know, and how to shop with you.
All right, y'all can shop with me at designerzoe.com, or you can follow me on Instagram, Designer Zoe, and my Facebook is Zoe Moolah, but I don't really, you know, interact on there. But the best way to contact me would be through the site. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, look, it's a pleasure talking with you tonight, Designer Zoe. Happy birthday, right?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Got a birthday coming up in a couple of days, so we're going to drop this on your birthday. So everybody that's watching this, you know, tell Zoe happy birthday in the comments.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Shout out to Royalty Productions,
Shout
DJ
out to
UTV.
DJ U.
Gang.
DJ, you go crazy.